Hi, Matt.
Hi, I really appreciate you sharing today. And 3, 4 months ago, you shared a story with me that was, I thought, very exciting. And it kind of went along with the Bible study that you're doing, right?
Right. Experiencing God.
Yeah. And I've done that Bible study before, and it was very impactful. So just, I mean, simply, what happened?
So, how did it come about? So, in experiencing God, the authors, this is the updated version, the authors encourage people to be looking for where God is working, ask Him to show you every day when you get up for an opportunity to meet people and to talk about the Lord. Kind of the same thing we do in this Discovery Bible. So, this particular day, I was going to the store. I went to Safeway, and while I was in Safeway, I saw this woman walking towards me, and she was a mess. She was skinny. Her face was covered in sores. She was typically what I would look at and think was a meth user. I'm getting ready to walk past her, and I feel like God's tapping me on the shoulder saying, I want you to pray for her. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was terrified, number one, and number two, awkward, and I didn't know what to say. So I just thought it was me, and I just let it pass. And I said, so Lord, if this is really you, let her come around again, which she did. And then I still wasn't sure. So I said, well, Lord, if this is really you, have her say something to me, which she did. She said hi. And so the eighth time she came around, I kind of got the idea that this was real. And so then I was like, all right, Lord, I'll talk to her, but can we do it outside? So I was in line and she was in line, but I got stuck. I had a lot more than she did. And I saw her and I saw that she didn't have any money to buy the stuff or her card was rejected. And so I said, well, Lord, um, if if you really want me to pray for her, would you please hold on to her in the parking lot? It was much later and I walked out and I didn't see her anywhere. And then I got in my car and kind of heard in my head, go around, go look. And so I went around and I didn't see anybody. Look again. And I went around and I didn't see anybody, but kind of off in the distance out of the parking area over by the trees, I saw her head underneath a truck. And I was
Hmm.
like, I wonder if that's her. And I started to drive over and I see this guy look at me and he waves me off and he says, I got it. And then I looked and she kind of turned and I thought, I think that's her. So I went and parked my car, still running, and I ran over to her and I said, I think that I'm supposed to ask you. I think God told me that I'm supposed to ask you what you need. And of course, my thought was that she was going to say $100 or whatever, but it wasn't. She was brokenhearted for somebody who was having basically having their property condemned. Supposedly, he didn't know how to go through probate or what to do. And
Hmm.
um, I, I just said, well, can I pray for you? And she said, would you? And she burst into tears. And so I put my arms on her and I prayed for her. And she told me where the property was and uh, gave her some money so that she could buy her groceries. And then I left. And then I wrote to you.
That is so cool. And you said the words nudge in the text.
Mhm.
That God, you felt like God was tapping you on the shoulder, and I
Yes.
think that that's really kind of a good word picture for how God speaks to us.
Yes.
And
A
then
little
and then of
slow.
course, yeah, and then of course you were asking, I appreciate your humility and saying it took me 8 times before I did it.
Yeah.
But what's really cool is you followed through. And a lot of times we as Christians, we struggle with what should we be doing, and just these little things that we can do, like we've been doing with Discovery Bible Study. That one question we ask each other in our groups: who have you chatted with this week about God, and who have you offered to pray for or pray for them in person? And that's the simplicity of I think reaching out to people and sharing the gospel by just starting the conversation. So I'm very proud of you. That good job, and that's cool. And thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, is there anything else that you wanted to kind of put a bow on it?
Well, I did tell you that it took me 5 times of the Lord nudging me to go back to the Free Methodist Church.
Oh yeah,
I,
right.
uh, that that was the very first thing that I did in this step, was to come
Yeah,
back after being gone for so many years.
yeah,
And I didn't come back to kind of let you guys care for me in my old age. I came back because I think God is going to do something in our church. And he's been nudging me about the homeless community and about being involved, and how maybe we as a church have a mission. And but that takes the rest of the church hearing that. But I know for me, he was definitely um, challenging me on that whole, you want to be involved with the homeless, you want to be involved with the drug addicted. I'm putting this right in front of you now,
that's awesome.
put your
Yeah,
money where your mouth is.
yeah, that's so cool. Well, thanks for sharing that, and I'm hoping that people will hear this and feel like they can relate to God nudging them in their lives. And so I think that these are just normal everyday nudges that we just need to be aware that God is already speaking. So thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome.